training session, online training session for Informatica MDM. This is a training session from BIST, and my name is Sunil Mohanty. I have 8+ years of experience into Informatica MDM and into Informatica IDQ and Power Center and other tools. So I have worked with lots of clients in different domains like telecom and finance. So the topic for today is Informatica MDM. So before going through the slides, we would I'll just go through. See, these are the basic 4 things that we'll be covering. So the first thing we'll try to understand is map to role, and then prerequisite, then MDM overview, and all that. So let's talk about map to role. So what this means is, let's say if you have completed this, if you've taken this training course, if you completed it successfully, then you will be able to work as a 3 years experience Informatica MDM developer. Okay, so that's clear. Now moving to the second point was the prerequisite. So the prerequisite here is SQL, knowledge about database, RDBMS like Oracle, or any database like SQL Server or DB2. And if you know about Java, if you have knowledge on Java, that is also an added advantage. Otherwise, it's not mandatory. Okay, you just need very basic information about Java. So these are the main prerequisites for this learning course. And then we will be discussing about this MDM overview. This is a big topic, like MDM overview and the architecture. And once we finish that, I'll just show you an overview of the tool, how it looks like, and I'll just give you a quick demonstration on the tool. And then we'll talk about assignments, case studies, and the materials that I am going to provide. Okay, so we'll start with this MDM overview and architecture. So okay, this slide is actually divided into 2 parts. Okay, so you can see here, the first part is MDM overview, and the second part will talk in brief about the architecture of Informatica MDM. Okay, so let's start with the first part. So here we go. So basically we'll be covering these 4 questions. We'll try to understand these 4 questions. I'll give an explanation on each of this topic. So that will constitute this first part of this presentation. So why MDM? That's the first question. And why Informatica MDM? And then how MDM is going to help everyone, and how and what is MDM? These are the 4 topics we'll be covering. So why MDM? That's the first question. So here the thing is, see, there are different data warehouses, there are ERP systems, there are CRM systems, there are business intelligence systems, there are mainframes, there are, if I start counting, there are a lot of systems, okay, a lot of software implementations. So this MDM, master data management, is something that is relatively new. It's almost like only 10-15 years old. So what does this means? Okay, so is it just like some other software, some other implementation, or is it different? See, this is different. See, we'll try to understand what makes this product different, and why the demand will be there for this product in the coming future. Okay, so the first point here is multiple products. So what I mean by multiple products is, let's say a company XYZ, and let's assume that they are selling a single product, that is popcorn. Okay, so down the line in future, if they still constrain themselves only to popcorn, that is a single business, it's most likely likely that they will fail. Okay, but if they move their business into more diverse areas like pizzas or popcorn or burgers or anything, more diverse areas, then they are going to succeed. So see, this is a strategy of not about only XYZ. This strategy is used by almost all the companies in this world. So what it means is the number of products for every organization is going to rise. So what it means for us is data will be scattered even more into multiple source systems. So basically this is where you need MDM to integrate different data, that is to integrate same instances of the customer. That is, let's say John Smith is present in 50 different databases. Now you need to integrate those information to create a single version of truth. So when I say multiple products, it means we need MDM there. And the second is pretty much clear, government norms. So what I mean here is, see, all the companies have to follow the regulations, okay? So for auditing purposes, let's say government demands some information from the companies, that they need to provide that information. Basically, as per the new government norms from in the United States, the organizations have to provide a 360-degree single view of the customer to the government. So to do that, MDM should be there. Otherwise, it's not possible to provide a 360-degree view of a customer. Okay, so that's why, again, why MDM? Okay, so let's move to the third point. How it helps a CRM application. See, a CRM application, customer relationship management application, what it does is it creates strategies to retain and to fetch new customers. See, this is the main thing, how an organization grows, okay, using a CRM applications. So basically a CRM application will do its job properly only if it has access to the master data. If it does not have access to the master data, then there will be duplicates, and CRM will create wrong strategies that will even hurt the, you can say, that will damage your current relationships if you do not have an MDM. Again, coming to the fourth point, how it helps a data warehouse and reporting application. See, a data warehouse is something that stores different types of measures, facts, and all that. So if you do not have a MDM, what happens is there will be duplicates. Let's say a company called as Airtel and a company called as Airtel India Private Limited. So if a data warehouse does not have access to MDM, then it will treat Airtel and Airtel India Private Limited as separate customers, and it will calculate the revenues separately. So this is wrong, whereas the revenue should be calculated as a combined, that is after merging and creating a single record, revenue should have been calculated. So the same goes with reporting applications, where because reporting applications basically take data from data warehouses or data marts. So again, for reporting applications to succeed, you need to have a stable, good MDM. That is, you need to have a good master data. So that was about the fourth point. And fifth point is pretty much simple. Let's say someone was a customer and let's say he dies because of some reason. So what happens? Normally you keep on sending advertisements, strategies to retain his customer relationship. That is fine if he is alive, but if he is not anymore, then it's a violation. You should not do that. So this can easily be prevented, like sending email to persons who are not alive anymore using an MDM. That can easily be done. So that constitutes the end of this slide. So I'll just conclude this slide. So what I was trying to say here is, now a lot of companies have not implemented MDM yet, but down the line, because of all these reasons, almost all companies have to implement an MDM solution. So that is why the importance of MDM is very high. There's a lot of importance. Okay, in the future, it's very important. Now we'll move to the second slide. That is why Informatica MDM. See, we talked about why MDM. Now we'll try to understand why Informatica MDM. Because see, there are other softwares like IBM InfoSphere, there are SAP MDM, Siebel MDM, Oracle MDM. If I start counting, there will be more than 20-30 different MDM products in the market. So what the difference does this new product? It's a new product makes. See, first of all, Informatica MDM has been rated as a top MDM tool by a lot of different agencies. I'll just justify why they have done it like that. See, the first thing is Informatica is the only corporation, it's the only vendor that sells all the three information together. That is all the three products: a product for data integration, that is Informatica Power Center; product for data quality, that is Informatica Developer; and MDM, Informatica MDM. It's the only organization that sells all of this in the single umbrella or in the single set. So what it means for us is we will be able to take the advantage of data integration, data quality, and MDM together. So we can use features of data integration and data quality with MDM that will help us to create a very robust data solution that will help us to create a very robust MDM, a high performance MDM. Okay, so about the second point, scaling. When I'm talking about scaling, it's like Informatica is fine for both horizontal and vertical scaling, where let's say if you want to, if your server has been installed in 5 machines, 5 nodes, and if you want to add 5 more nodes, okay, 5 more physical machines, let's say. So Informatica MDM can easily do that without decreasing performance. Also, your performance will increase linearly. Okay, so this is a very good option. And the fourth option being a robust matching engine. See, any matching engine is the heart of an MDM. Okay, that's the most important piece of software for any MDM. So Informatica's matching engine is very robust if compared with other software vendors. So that is the reason why Informatica has the ability to identify different customers and to create a master record. See, it does it very nicely. The only reason being this robust matching engine. We'll talk about matching engine in the later classes. Okay, and Informatica's corporation's investment in Cyperion. See, in Cyperion, previously this product was known as Cyperion MDM. It was acquired by Informatica in 2010. So, and they have invested a lot of money into Cyperion, and they are investing as advertisements, as different enhancements in the software. Because if you see, if you compare the previous Cyperion product, and that was there in 2010, and if you compare the product Informatica MDM that is there in 2015, that is the latest Informatica MDM version 10, then you will see that there are lots and lots of differences between these products. So what it means is Informatica is actually expanding this software into multiple areas. Previously it supported only Oracle and DB2. Now they have started supporting SQL Server. So coming down the line, they'll support almost more than 20 databases. So this has a good, you can say, future. So this constitutes the second slides. Now this topic, see, I've already discussed this topic. See how MDM is going to help you, because see, MDM is going to grow in market. See, I'm talking about, see, if you compare with data warehouses, what happened with data warehouses 15-20 years back, there were very less data warehouse implementations in this whole world. I'm talking about 20 years back. So everyone needed their own data warehouse because of multiple reasons. So they created their own. So what happened in IT market was there was huge demand for people who had any idea on data warehouses. So the same thing is going to happen with MDM. There will be huge demand for people who know MDM. So this is a good, it's very good to learn this technology, not just Informatica MDM or any MDM, because that will help you in your career. Now we'll move to the fourth slide. That is, what is MDM? So we understood why MDM and why Informatica MDM, what makes Informatica MDM different from other MDM softwares. So here we'll try to understand what is MDM. So MDM is master data management. So what I mean here is management of master data. How you manage the master data. That is nothing but master data management. So first of all, to understand master data, we have to understand what is data. I think you already know, everyone, what is data. Data is nothing but information. So everything that you see in the whole world, right, it's data. When you log into your laptop, you hear a movie song, that's audio data, that's video data. So when you do anything, you go to your bathroom, you go to your dining table, you eat something, everything is data actually. So, but we are interested about data that will help an organization to create business, to grow. So we are talking about relational data, that is relational RDBMS data stored in tables. We are interested about product data, customer data, party data, location data, finance data, all these kinds of data. Okay, so that was basically about data. Now what is master data? So we'll try to understand what is master data. I'll just move to the next slide that will help you to understand. Okay, what is master data? See, let's say John Smith. Okay, John Smith let's say he has taken 3 products from a telecom company called as XYZ. So his information will be there in 3 different databases. Okay, so he is present as John in database A, he is present as John Smith in database B, and he is present as John K. Smith in database C. Okay, so he is the same person, but his information is scattered in different databases with different information. That is, his addresses are different in different databases, his name are not exactly the same. Okay, so here what master data is, master data is a single piece of information. That is, we merge all of these 3 customers, we squeeze all of these 3 customer information to create a single version of truth. That is, if there are 50 different customer records, then we create a single version of the truth. That is, we create a single record, and the columns will be taken, that is, the trustworthy columns will be taken. Let's say if John K. Smith is the best name, that is, let's say if John K. Smith is his name, then the master record will contain John K. Smith, not John or not John Smith. That is basically done through trust mechanism in MDM, and you need to configure that. So basically, master data means squeezing information, that is merging. So you merge different instances of the customer to create a single version of the truth, and that version of truth provides a 360-degree view of the customer. Okay, so it's very simple. What is master data? So this slide was we try to understood, like we explored ourselves into why MDM and how it is going to help you and what is MDM. So now we'll move to the next part, that is the architecture overview and components. So on a high level basis, I'll just walk you through the architecture. So this is the diagram that you see in front of you. That is nothing but the architecture. You can see something, the operational systems and third-party systems, that is on the left hand side. So these are nothing but the source systems. I talked about John Smith being present in 3 different databases. So these are the 3 different databases I talked about. So, and this is the Informatica MDM hub that you're seeing here. So the square is the Informatica MDM hub, okay? And the pipe that you're seeing here is the middleware that is used as a communication line between the source systems and Informatica MDM hub. Just a small information for you, that you need an external ETL tool or an AI tool to communicate with Informatica MDM hub, and Informatica MDM does not come up with this ETL tool and AI tool. You need to purchase them separately. Okay, so first of all, you need to drop your data into MDM's landing tables using either real-time or batch interface. When I'm speaking about real-time, it's basically through an enterprise service bus, ESB, or an enterprise application integration, EAI, or so it can be an ETL tool. That is Informatica, Power Center, Data Stage, Ab Initio, Oracle ETL. There are many options that you can use. So let's say you have extracted data from these systems and loaded data into here, landing tables. You have loaded the raw information. Okay, this is the beginning of the first stage of Informatica MDM, where you load the data, and you can do it through an ETL or EAI through ESB. That depends upon your project architecture. So once you do that, now data is here. This is where everything starts in Informatica MDM. Now when you have data, the first step here is to ensure the quality, that is to cleanse the data and to enrich it. So cleansing means it's cleaning the data. Okay, so you can use standard functions like string functions, like cleanse list you can use, or you can use lower to upper conversion. These are very standard tools that you can use to clean the data. So once you clean the data, then you need to enrich it. So what I mean by enrichment is, one small example will be, let's say from source you are getting the country code as IND, okay, but the country name is actually INDIA, that is India. So you could translate IND into India using a reference table. That is an example of enrichment. And another example will be like if you're getting some suffix from say the source, then you can you can enhance the suffix name. You can do a lot of things using reference tables. So let's assume data has been cleansed and it has been enriched. Now we move to the matching part. Okay, so last slide I talked about John Smith. So again I'll be talking about that. So John Smith in database A, John in database A, John Smith in database B, and John K. Smith in database C. So these are the three instances of the customer. Now what matching does is it will run the matching engine on these three customers so that John Smith, John K. Smith and John, they will be matched with each other, and this Informatica will identify that these are all duplicates. Okay, so Informatica will identify based on the configuration that you have done. So once it has identified this information, now we move to the next stage where we link or we merge these customers. That is basically we merge John Smith, John K. Smith and John. So we merge all these three information to create a single version of truth. Okay, so once we have done this, we have the single version of truth. That is, we have created the golden record, or you can say the master record. Okay, so we are almost done here. The only thing is, see, data in corporates will always be hierarchical. So let's say Amit and Vinay. Okay, so Amit is an employee and Vinay, let's say he is the manager of Amit. So you need to create a relationship table to define the relationship between Amit and Vinay. Okay, so this is how we relate these different tables and we create hierarchies. That is how data is related to each other in a hierarchy. So this you need to configure it, and then data steward. This is data steward. This feature is something that is very unique to Informatica MDM. Okay, so data steward is a person who is an expert on data, who has complete knowledge about the data. Okay, so he's the, you can see he's the most important person, and he understands what is data, and actually he will be the person to tell you that yes, John and John K. Smith and John Smith, all these three records are actually the same customer. So he is the person. So Informatica provides a lots of tools like data manager, merge manager, hierarchy, all these tools that will also Informatica data director that helps an data steward to explore more into the data and to define the match rules properly. So we're almost done with this. See, once this step is completed, so what we need to do is we need to publish, because master data is literally useless if it's not used by external organizations. Like if you do not publish the data to data warehouses, CRM applications and BI applications, then it serves no purpose. So this is how you do it. You can see the interface. I already talked about this: ESP, EAI, MOM and ETL, all these four interfaces. So data will be published to different parties through these interfaces, either via batch mode or real-time mode. So you can see data marts, data warehouses, portal dashboards, business intelligence, corporate performance management, or there could be CRM applications or ERP applications. Basically, everyone is interested in an MDM. Once you create the MDM, then almost all your source systems, or all the, you can say, teams that you have, all the projects that are run in a client, they will be interested in an MDM data. So we just covered how data enters into an MDM and how data exits. So again, this is the MDM architecture from a different point of view. See, you can see here that it's basically a three-tiered architecture. So this is the top most tier, this is the middle, and this is the lowest. Okay, it's a three-tier architecture, with being this as the database layer, and this as the application server layer, and this as the user layer, that is the interface layer. So this is nothing but you can see there are different databases, like there's a master database and there's a customer ORS. I mean, there's an ORS. So basically you will have a single master database that will contain information about all admin related things, like user information, privileges, and all SIP related information. And ORS is basically the thing that we are interested about, because ORS will contain all your master info, all your master data records in the base objects. So these are all stored in databases in different schemas. So again, now we move to the application server layer, where you can see something as the hub server, cleanse, match server. So these are nothing but process. This architecture is a process oriented architecture, where you have this as different services. Like hub server is a different service, cleanse, match server is a different service. You can physically configure this and this in different geographical locations as well. Okay, so this is the main layer. So if this is down, then you say Informatica MDM hub is down. And this is finally the user interface layer, where you will have you will access the tool. I'll just also give you a demonstration on the tool. And also there's something called as Informatica Data Director that will be used by data stewards. So this constitutes the user interface layer. You can see something as Services Integration Framework. Basically, these are the APIs through which external applications like CRM applications or ERP applications, they can communicate with an Informatica MDM hub. Let's say an CRM application wants to create a record in MDM, and that will be, let's say, automated process. They have to use this zip to do that. We'll cover zip in the classes later. So again, this is what we talked about already. These are the source systems. Then you land the data to the tables using ETL, and then you cleanse the data, and then after cleaning the data, you drop them into the staging tables. Also, there's something called as raw, reject. These are all the options. I'll be covering them later. And finally, you drop the data to the base objects. See here in Informatica MDM, base object is the most important table that will contain your master data. Okay, so this is the base object. Once data is there in the base object, we need to run the deduplication process that will do the matching, and then it will merge duplicate instances of the same customer to create a unique version of truth. So once that is done, we publish the information to the downstream applications. Okay, so again, this is the same thing, just it's listing. So I'll give you a demonstration of the tool right now. So this tool is basically, it's a web-based tool. So doesn't need to be installed in your server, local machine. You can access it. Okay, so let's say I have installed this in this server. This is the server where I have installed the tool. So you just click this link, you can see it's a version 10. So now you just open this JNLP file. It is downloading this information from the server. So every time you use this tool, it will download it from the server. So you can see also, it's trying to download it from this HTTP server. We already covered these three topics. Tool overview is something that we are going to do now, and then we have to talk about assignments that I'm going to give you and case studies. So while this tool is getting launched, let us move to the assignments. So basically I've created lots of assignments. So there are lots of assignments that I have created that will help you to understand this Informatica MDM much better. Okay, like how to design a party model, how to design a product, a customer model, a product model, and how and creating different types of base objects and creating different relations and staging tables, how to configure different options in the staging table. Okay, so see, you need to log in. Okay, so we'll start with this demonstration of this tool. So when you log in, it's asking you to choose the database. This is the master database, and you can have only one master database, whereas you can have multiple ORSs. So let's log in into this ORS. So this is the tool. Just a brief about this tool. In other products, other software systems, you will have multiple tools for multiple features. Like, let's say Informatica Power Center, you have to create your mapping in a separate tool, you have to configure it in a separate tool, and then you have to run it in a separate tool, and then you have to check the results. You need a separate tool. And to do the administrations, again, you need an admin console. Okay, but here the things are different. Here everything will be done in this single tool. Everything can be done in this single tool. Development, from architecture, data modeling, from data stewardship, or any operation that you want to do, you can easily do it here. Let's say if you want to monitor jobs also, you can do it here. Okay, so basically this is the tool, and this configuration tab is related to admin. For this, you need to connect to the master database. These are all related to your administration and does not have anything to do with the development. Okay, so this states information about what are the types of different ORSs you have. If you have 50 different ORSs, then you will have all the 50 lists here. And this is users tab, where you will have information about all users that are there and the global password policies and the default databases that you have configured. The security provider information is the LDAP information. It's this external authentication if you want to configure in your organization. Normally you'll use these security providers. You need to create a jar file, and then you can upload this jar file here. This tool access is a part of authentication, where you provide authorization over the different tools that you have. Okay, so you choose what kinds of tool can then user access. Then we do not have any users here apart from MDM. That's why we cannot see anything here. Message queues are something through which you will communicate with your downstream application. Let's say you have created a master record, then that communication will be done to external parties via message queues. Repository manager is something that you use to export data to different repositories. Let's say you created an object in development environment and you would like to migrate that to the testing environment. You can achieve that here. Enterprise manager is something where you manage different processes that are there, a hub server, a process server, master databases, ORS databases, and a complete environment report that contains information about all your installations and configurations. You can see the port numbers and all this information. Workflow manager is something that is related if you have configured Informatica Active POS, that is Informatica State Management and BPM Business Process Management, then you can use this tool. And these are all development tools. This contains, this is the most important part, where there are base objects. These are nothing but your master data will be stored in the base objects. You configure the matching rules, the validation rules, and all those information you need to configure it here. And these are the landing tables that we talked about. These are the landing tables where you will drop data, that is using an ETL, you will extract data from different source systems and you'll put them here. And then the schema viewer is something where you can see the architecture, that is the data model, how everything looks like. So why it is getting loaded. Okay, so this is the high level data model. It's basically a party data model, and there are two types of models here. You can see a party data model and you can see a product data model. Now there is something called as this systems and trust, where you configure all the source systems. These are all the source systems, and you configure trust. Queries packages are similar to your views that you have in databases. Cleanse functions is something that I talked about. One example is a trim function or uppercase functions that you can use to cleanse your data. Mapping is similar to what you have in different ETLs. This is the source, and we have the target here, and then these are all the cleansing that is done. And hierarchies is something you will be able to see only if you have configured. So here you configure hierarchy of the customer, that is how one customer is related to another customer. So you need to configure this, and these are all admin tools where you create different roles and groups. This is basically for authorization. Authentication is done here. Data manager, merge manager, and hierarchy manager, these are all the weapons, or you can say tools, used by a data steep or to correct the data, to merge the possible matches. Okay, so this data manager is where he can view the data, and merge manager is something where you can merge different records that have been queued for manual merging. You can change the statuses of the customers. You can decrease or increase the trust scores. There are a lot of options that you can do. Hierarchy manager is for exploring the hierarchy. You can see the hierarchy information. If you have configured hierarchy, you will be able to see how data is related to each other. See, this will be displayed graphically. Okay, so you can see Mr. John is related to Mr. Miller, how he is related, and what is the hierarchy level, all those information. Batch group is something where we use it to run the jobs in batches, or you can say in groups, whereas batch viewer is something where you run individual jobs, like from landing to staging and staging to load, and dot dot dot. Process server, audit manager, these are all admin related information. That process server is something you configure the process cleanse match server here, that is the process server. Audit manager is something, if you want to enable auditing, then you simply configure here, otherwise you can leave as it is. SIF manager, yes, this is important, because see, you have to create ORS specific APIs and the message schemas, so that you can, this is the message schema that will be used for message queues, and SIF APIs are these are the ORS specific APIs. If you want to use them, you need to create it here. And user access, previously user access were implemented as packages in below 9.6 version, but in this version, that is version 10 that we will be working with, user access have to be implemented in Java. So this constitutes the, this is the conclusion for this demonstration about the tool. Assignments, we already were talking about assignments, many assignments that I'll be giving you, like how to configure SIF and how to use an ETL with different MDM, and create users and assign access to them, how you can do all this. So at the end of the classes, I'll be giving you small assignments, so that will help you to understand this tool much. You could say the examples will be basically real-time examples, I mean assignments, so that when you will start working with an organization, these are going to help you. So let me just walk you through the materials that I will be providing, or you will have access to. So these are the presentations. You can see this covers almost all the topics. See, this covers all the topics about the landing tables, basic mappings, all the things. You do not need any additional documents apart from this to understand Informatica MDM. So there are 4 documents like this. This is a big document that explains the matching process, the validation process, the trust rules, and all the different configurations. What are the all different types of strategies that are used, and you can see It covers the matching in a very detailed manner, because matching is the most important part of this MDM. And all information has been explained clearly here. So these are all the slides. Okay, so these are all the slides. So this contains information about your metadata manager, IDD, and hierarchy manager. And this has information about user exits, how to implement user exits using Java. So this is a sample program you can see on how to create a Java program to implement user exits. This is a Java program. And the SIF, there's a separate document for SIF as well, because SIF is very important. So again, this is a code that you can directly copy and paste, and you can use it to implement SIF, or else you can use an SOAP also to interact with SIF. And also you will get these documents. These are from Informatica Corporation to understand and to create a practical MDM. So the materials and case studies will be covering this training session. Basically, it will be very similar to a real time, like we'll consider real-time telecom scenarios, the data models that are used by real-time systems, or you can say live projects, so that you can understand what kind of data models will be used by organizations. Let's say you join an organization that has Informatica MDM, then you can easily correlate these case studies with your current project situation. Okay, so